Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mr. Fred. Thank
Good.
you.
Let me change
Uh,
my view so I can see you better. There we go.
so for somebody who is still scratching the surface of non-duality or advaita, uh, whenever we do this satsang and you feel like you are self, you can truly feel yourself as a true self.
Mhm.
No problem. That's not where the problem is. But after the satsang, when Monday morning hits and you are doing your daily stuff,
Mhm.
sometimes you forget about your true nature, true self.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where the two things that came handy in past 2 weeks was number one, acceptance about just like how you described. This is what it is, and I need to find how to make best out of it. And second thing, it kind of takes me towards the spirituality, which I would call it complete surrender.
Yeah.
But then, why is it so easy to forget about these things? When you are in the middle of the reality, sometimes. And are there any tips or suggestions to keep the moment of self, maybe 24 hours, for an example? How do I stay in this position?
How do you what now?
How do I stay in self and not kind of wander around into reality?
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, the answer to all why questions, the only really good one, only really good answer and true answer is why not? Right? And that's the truth. Why does this happen? I don't know. Check with God. I'm not that close. And everything happens as it happens. Everything happens as it must happen. There's no choice, no choice at all. It's my influence. I drove for the driver in front of me for years, right? Would you speed up? Would you slow down? Would you give a signal? Do this, do that. It never influenced the first one of them. You know, all it did was give me an opportunity. It just gave us a place to vent um, rage. We're not here to vent rage. We're not here to learn how to deal with rage, how to cope with rage. We're here to notice that in the absence of an individual, there's no rage. Rage arises only upon the rising of an individual. Yeah. It's the and it never and the individual is never really there. We always afraid, well, if I give up that, if I completely surrender, what happens to me? Well, it's got to be a me. You can't lose what you don't have. And there's no me there. So what you really lose is just the warped perspective that there's a you and everything else. And it's not true. And the reason that you go back and forth, it feels like you go back and forth between clarity and um, confusion,
Mm-hmm.
is really you're moving back and forth into thought and out of thought. That's what's happening. You're identifying with thought and then you're not. So, and this again, in what we're just talking about, this is kind of identify. Are you identifying? Are you noticing things as the body? Because if you are, you're personifying them, and then they're going to be good or bad or white or black or ugly or not. It's all about the opposites. You're actually beyond all opposites. You're not even. We can't even. I mean, I won't even say that you're good. I certainly won't say you're bad. And I have a story that I tell myself, and I don't know how accurate it is, but it makes me feel good. So I'll stick with my story, which is that the universe is absolutely neutral with possibly a little leaning toward goodness. I like that.
Hmm.
Because what that does, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. What it amounts to is that my view then is now open. I'm open to more positive things happening, more positive things relatively. I mean, there's, we're learning, what we're here for really is to learn how to live through these bodies as the absolute. But we're not ignoring the body. We're not pretending that we're not these bodies. We're not in just these bodies. We're not exclusively these bodies. We're not even exclusively awakeness. We're both. It's never as simple as we think. We're both because, and they're not two. So just really mix it up. We are both, but there's not two. In other words, we're both perspectives that are being experienced through this body, dependent upon looking through, looking as, looking through, looking as, looking through, no personalization, looking as, personalization, looking through, no problem, looking as, nothing but problems, or lots of problems anyway. You can bring this into the forefront of attention anytime you want to. You just have to catch it, which sounds like you're kind of doing. And if you catch yourself afterward, I'd like it, that, damn, you can't say that wasn't supposed to be because it's what happened. So let yourself off the hook that you're a slacker, that you're not doing something enough. It just comes and goes. It takes years before there's really, it doesn't take a lot of years, but it takes years usually before there's much in the way of stability. And until then, just enjoy the moves. I mean, really, notice and see. And the thing is that quantity is more important than duration. So the more often you see through, the more often you notice, oh, I'm looking as the body. I'm looking as Parth. I'm looking as this human. The more often you can see that, the more often you can unwind that erroneous thought. And it's how often you unwind that thought that counts. It's if you do it once or twice or 10 times, not going to be enough. How long you been thinking you were Parth? Long time, right? So there's a lot of that conditioning there that's built up into believing, and there, all sorts of things that are built up to keep reminding you that you're a Parth, even though you're not. But I mean, if you look at your driver's license, it's not going to say awakeness, right? It's going to say Parth. If you meet somebody outside, they're not going to say, "Hey, awakeness, how are you?" Unless it's me, maybe. I might do that just to screw with you. But so we're identified with thinking or we're not. We are, and being identified with thinking is simply that unconscious thinking is happening. And that unconsciousness is the idea that I'm this. It comes with that coma comes with it, right? You just believe that you're a Parth or I'm a Fred, and then you go from that teetering state to full coma. But you can come out of that just as easily by noticing. I have tells, which is my main tell is to watch and see if I'm suffering. And that really, if I'm suffering, you know what that means? It means I'm dreaming. I don't suffer. I really don't. Fred does. Fred suffers some. Even Fred doesn't suffer much anymore. But he can. Not that there's a Fred there, but there can be that feeling that, oh, this isn't right. And it'll inevitably be tied up with something that's wrong for the unit. Each one of these units believes they're really something special. 8 billion others, but I think I'm the unique one. Yeah, no arrogance there, is there? Yeah, not a bit. Thank you, Parth,
Thank you.
very much.